Hey guys, Kermit Squeagle here, new to YouTube. Decided maybe for my first of all, it's 4:57 in the morning. I'm trying not to wake my neighbors, so pretty quiet. Hope my voice can be heard, but I thought I'd just recommend some anime coming out this season that at least I'm interested in personally. There's a new One Punch Man coming out. Yeah, I know they got the different studio and it doesn't look as good as it used to, but it could be worse. It could be some full 3D CG studio like Polygon. I'm not a big fan of 3D CG personally at all. They got a little bit in there now with the Genos, so it's pretty disappointing. But at least it's still mostly 2D and the story's there. So I think it'd still be worth it. And it is pretty sad they couldn't get back Studio Bones. There's this Fairy Gone series that looks really interesting. Um, like really interesting. It looks like it's mixing like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with like stands. You could even see him in the thumbnail here. Um, and it's mixing it with kind of almost like World War I Germany. It's almost kind of how it feels, but it's probably not quite the case. But it just looks really cool. And they had a new PV yesterday, and it looked straight banging. I saw a few of the preview videos they had, but they didn't show much of like the human on human action. And there were some sick fight scenes, but it's also PA Works. They make some pretty sick fight scenes. The only complaint I have is the stands are kind of in CG, which, once again, I'm not a big fan of CG, but altogether it's mostly 2D. I think it looks really good. I really like the character designs. I'm a big fan of those designs where, the eyes and the nose and the proportions are a little closer to reality. And they, I'm not the biggest, when things get too kawaii, it just kind of gets too much for me. And it's kind of kawaii. The girls are pretty cute. But they're not like overly cute. It looks really good. Other one that looks like it's probably going to be good is Carol and Tuesday, which is it's a Watanabe. It's Shinichiro Watanabe is the director. It's another one that looks like it's got like a good art design, and apparently I think it's supposed to be like a musical, so it's kind of very creative. And I know Watanabe is really into music, so it really makes sense. There was another anime he made called Kids on the Slope. They had a lot of music stuff in it. And it looks very interesting. I think it'd be worth a try. Let's see, there might have been a couple more that I thought looked interesting. There's a few that aren't on here that I'd like to talk about. I think, let me see if I could find any. Dororo or Dororo, I guess that's how they pronounce it in Japan, is still going. There's that Promare movie from Trigger. But man, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it looks like it's mostly in 3D CG, and they're trying, but it really feels like they're trying to compensate for budget with all that CG in there. I'm sorry for sounding so obsessed with CG. I'm just not a big fan of it. I don't. Any of you guys like CG? I'm not gonna judge you or anything, but too much CG just ruins it for me. It doesn't even matter how good the story is. There's the new Lupin movie. I haven't watched much Lupin, but what I've seen is like really good. I know it's kind of like niche here in America, but Lupin is supposed to be really good, and it's a series that's been going for like 50 plus years. And it's one of those things you're supposed to be able to just hop into, because each one is like a different story. So you don't have to watch it all to understand it all. But that might be interesting. There's the Seven Seeds series, which was Netflix exclusive, so it says June, but of course we won't be getting it legally till like Christmas because of friggin' Netflix. But it looks interesting because there's supposed to be like frickin' 60 characters, and they're all important. You know how some anime they create all these extra characters that just get left behind. Well, apparently, from what I've heard, this series is based off a manga. Every single character has a purpose. Like, one way or another, They all come into play, all like 60 of them. Unlike, Naruto or Bleach, where, the giant cast of characters, some of them are really cool at first, but then the writer doesn't know what to do, so they just sit on the sidelines and get no development. But here, everyone serves their purpose before the end. So I think that's it on Anichart. One thing that was playing recently, in case you guys haven't heard, there was a Psycho-Pass movie trilogy that I heard was really good. There was one person from Anime News Network that happened to see them, and he gave each of the movies like an A rating, which kind of blew my mind. Because I like Psycho-Pass, but it really felt like we had season 1, and I was like, okay, that was cool. That was kind of like Japan's take on, that 1984 book, and here in America we had that Minority Report movie, and Psycho-Pass was like their version of that. But then it kept going with like season 2, which sucked. And then they had the movie, which looked really good. It looked good, but once again, I felt like, do we really need to keep going with this? Like, don't we get the point? Why can't they just blow up the system or whatever? But apparently the 3 movies were really, really good. So I like to hope maybe they found a way to, take it into a more interesting direction and maybe get away from those 1984 roots. But anyway, that's all I got. I hope this all worked. I'm new to YouTube. I'm using OBS. I'm not even sure if I'm doing it right. But here's hoping I did, and I'll be able to upload this onto YouTube, and maybe it'll get seen. So there you go. There's my first YouTube video. Kermit Squeakle out.